Liberation greetings to all and sundry. My name is John Ba Akuro, and today is Saturday, December 4, 2021. And this is yet another edition of the Soul of the Southern Cameroons. My people, in today's edition, we are going to be examining the role that women have played in political life in the southern Cameroons. We are going to be looking at the intricate role that women have played this far in this liberation movement. And like I've said it before, the the quest for the freedom, total freedom of the southern Cameroon started just at the dawn of the reunification between the people of the southern Cameroons and those of La République du Cameroun. Because just a few years into the unholy union, fissures were already visible everywhere. La République du Cameroun did not waste time in making its intention very clear, notably that of simply annexing and absorbing the southern Cameroons. And of course, we all heard Mr. Paul Biya say in France when he was quizzed by billionaire Mo Ibrahim that the objective or the ambition was to assimilate the southern Cameroons altogether. Fortunately enough, that has not yet come to pass. So today, we are going to be examining the intricate role that women have played in, ensuring that we attain our objective of total freedom. To do that on this program today, I have a special guest, a guest not like any other one. I would like to invite all of us, you in the audience, as fasten your seatbelt and get ready to enjoy this program with us as we continue to stomp together for total, absolute independence of the Southern Cameroons. I will introduce here my guest today. She is an educationist. She is wife of the very emblematic and enigmatic Pam for Ngalam for. She's called Mrs. for Marie. She is that one woman who has for decades lived with a man who spent a lot of his life in between jail and a free life. And so I welcome into the studio uh, Ma for Marie. Hello, Ma for Marie. You are coming in all the way from the Lone Star State of Texas. I suppose I actually called it right. And I know that it often is not really easy to, set aside time to be on slots like this one. So greetings, Ma'am for Marie. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Mr. Mba Akuru. I'm doing good. And just a point of correction, I'm actually joining in from Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you for inviting. Thank you for inviting me to this show. And I just hope that by the end of it, at least we would have talked some things that might be of benefit to this our revolution. Thank you.
yes, Ma, thank you so much. And again, I must appreciate that you have taken the pains to, be on this program and to talk to the people of the Southern Cameroons. I know a good lot of our people have heard about you, known that you are participating very actively with the Global Takumbang, but they might not have had the opportunity to meet you one on one like it is the case today. So let me begin by finding out from you what is your general appraisal of our liberation movement at this specific point in time?
Thank you, Mr. Akuru. This our liberation, to me, is not going as fast as I would have loved, and as many of us would have loved. Yes, we are putting in a lot of effort, but at the same time, being spoilers of the revolution through our actions, through our utterances, and through our lack of trust of each other. I just feel that we still have a lot to do. We still have to put away our egos. We still have to understand that there is no single man who is perfect. And we still have to understand that all of us have to put in our intellects together and work as a single force. I think that is what is keeping us behind. That is what is delaying our forward movement. Thank you.
Yeah, Manfor, I know what you see there is very pertinent and has been an ever present concern in the minds of all and sundry. We definitely are going to come to that aspect of unity and what efforts you as women have also been making to try and bring us together much later in this program. I'd like to find out from you, Manfor, when is the first time that you really got seriously involved with this, the Southern Cameroon's nationalism? I know your husband has been in all the time. Did you willingly, were you so anxious to jump in at the time he made up his mind to offer his life to the cause of the people of the Southern Cameroons? Or it took you some feet dragging? How did it go?
Actually, after living through some difficult times with La République, when this idea came up under the ACCs, I embraced it as an individual. At that time, my husband was not in any leadership position. I embraced it in Bamenda. We used to go out and give our support, receive the tear gas, and so on. At that time, my husband was in no leadership position. I embraced it as a Cameroon or a Southern Cameroon woman and mother.
Uh, when your husband finally got into leadership position and had to start living his life between, from, or should I say, from one jail to the other, and having just few moments to spend with you at home, I mean, how was your reaction? Did you have that feeling that perhaps it's a bitter pill you've touched, and did you have any sense or any feeling of regrets at any point in time?
Samba Akuru, if I say I didn't, then I'm lying because it wasn't easy for me and for my entire family. When my husband came into leadership position, it was like having no husband at home, the children having no father, because he dedicated his life to this struggle. In fact, it was like I having to carry the family burden all alone. I remember there were times that things might come up in the family that I would expect him to even pull away from the struggle a bit and attend to them. But he would tell me, you know what? I have put my hand in this thing. I cannot abandon my people in the middle of the sea. I am sorry, but just figure out how we will handle this. And he was gone. At the
I
certain time,
fully,
when he got so much, and I saw that it was affecting my family seriously, I told him, man, do you know what? You have to put an end to this. You are not the only Southern Cameroonian. I cannot allow myself to suffer, and then my children too will suffer. They are not getting the attention they need from you. You cannot fix Southern Cameroon without fixing your family. But he will pat me in the back and say, you know what, woman? I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Please, just let me get on with this. I have a meeting in Boya and I must go. I have to travel out of the country and I must go. Don't worry. God will see you through. Even when the children grew up, there was a time after so much suffering, being in jail and out, they told him that, Daddy, enough is enough. Step aside from this thing and have your rest. We are going to lose you before time. Then he will only ask, who will go there? Who will not also suffer? Any person who goes there will suffer the way I am suffering. So it makes no difference. You people should only pray for me. Yep.
I know
Okay.
how painful an experience that should have been, and especially that it is not even over, especially that we are perhaps at the most delicate stage of it right now. But I like to know also, during the numerous arrests he witnessed, each time, I mean, when they go for meetings and they are picked up and things like that, how did you receive often, how did you react to the messages of his, arrest once in a while, or those that say, oh, he has been picked up again and things like that? How did this come to you? How did you react to them?
When the arrest started, it would really break me down. But when it became the order of the day, anytime he was arrested, what I had to do was struggle to see how to cope with the situation, how to try to follow up to see that they are taken care of. That is when they were arrested and locked up out of Bamenda. And then try to get people, even to manage to give them food and so on. But Mr. Kuru, when they talk of this arrest, it's not like arresting one single person. It was, in most cases, they were arrested as a group. And it is not easy to take care of them when they are in a group. But anyway, the Lord was so good, he always made a way out. But throughout all the arrests that he has gone through, there are two situations where I actually thought that would be the end of my husband. One was in 2000, the famous 2002 arrest, when they were arrested in Mamfe on their way back from Nigeria for one of the court cases they had in Nigeria, where he was tortured to the point of death. The day they were moving into Bamenda from Mamfe, I was not at home. I just got a call. Uh, we are on our way. We are almost home, but Pa has to go to the hospital. I thought it was just common fever. So I left where I was, came to the house, and did not meet him in the house. I was only told that somebody had stopped in the house to leave his bag and then tell me that I should meet them in hospital. That was St. Louis. When I got there and saw my husband, I never thought he would live. He was operated upon in St. Louis. Things were just getting worse. I had to hire an ambulance to take him from St. Louis. In fact, my intention was to take him to Mbingo. When then there was this doctor, I think his name is Sonjo, who was in St. Louis, who said, Manfo, I will advise that you should take him to Shishon. I know a very good doctor there, and I'm sure he will be able to handle this situation. I accepted. We continued to Shishon. He notified the doctor in Shishon before we arrived there that we were coming. So as we just passed the Catholic Church and the siren was on, they immediately came out with their stretcher to receive him. And they received him from there direct to the X-ray, did an X-ray direct again to the theater. That is, in a period of 1 week, he had 2 major operations. While there in Shishon, to be very honest, I never believed that he would live. Many people who saw him never believed that he would live. Just the gadgets that were attached to his body, the sight alone was frightening. And then if you see what was being drained from his system, you will never have believed that he would live. But God is wonderful. He lived.
I
Another one
know.
was what?
Yes. Yes, go on.
Another one was hello.
Yes, go on.
Another one was when they were arrested in Boya. They only called me that they were coming up under police escort and that I should meet them at the judicial police in Bamenda. I went and received them from there. Palm 4 was on catheter. I only brought him home, he showered, and we left for Mbingo, the Mbingo Baptist Hospital, where again he had another operation. He had been kicked in his abdomen. So blood was accumulating in his abdomen. And then he had another operation. Let me tell you that going through this, it was like anytime he was going out, you only say, Papa God, bring him back safely, because it wasn't easy. Anytime he went out, my ears were alert, and I was expecting anything to happen. But the thing is, when you talk to him, he would just say, we are in the middle of the sea. I cannot abandon my people in the middle of the sea. What will I tell them? Will I tell them that I have brought them this far just to abandon them in the middle of the sea? We will have to die together. So I got you. I got, excuse me, please. I got used to it. All I could do was pray for him, pray for him anytime he was going out, because I expected anything to happen at any time.
Well, Manfor, I know it really was a difficult experience, and or rather that it is, because when I say it was, it's as if it's in the past, because at this point where we are talking, Pamfor Ngalamfor is actually serving, a life jail in a colonial prison of La République du Cameroun in Yaoundé. So, Manfor Marie, while you take a glass of water. Let's visit very quickly what some of the papers said about happenings both in the southern Cameroons, in Ambazonia, and at our noisy neighbors, uh, premises. I look at this article in the Guardian Post. This is in Moi, and this is in Ambazonia, where a military commander allegedly kills 13-year-old son of suspected Amba fighter. The soldier is said to have, shot dead the people in their house. You know, this kind of things have been happening. And I've been wondering whether we're going to hear the colonial administration of La République du Cameroun say a thing about this. Yet, we saw the Prime Minister of La République du Cameroun, Chief Joseph John Gute, rather mobilized people in Okondo Titi to go out and say they were protesting against supposed Amber boys who committed some atrocities in that area. And I'm wondering if a Prime Minister who prides himself to be an indigene of the southern Cameroons, reduces himself to the point of trying to call out people to go and protest against his own cause for freedom. I wonder exactly where we are headed. But what is strange is that these same people shut their mouths when we see this kind of horrible violations, like the one I just mentioned that we have seen on the Guardian Post, that a military man walks into a house and says that this young man is suspected to be the son of an Amber boy, and that is enough. He tries him on the spot, finds him guilty, and executes. This is outrageous. And this kind of things only happen in the southern Cameroons, where rather than, step up to say this kind of attitude is wrong, to come out in condemnation, those who call themselves our elite cheer, they clap. And still in the Guardian Post, we are seeing, there was continuous discussion about the resolution by the UN Parliament, which continues to pressure the United Nations Security Council to put the Southern Cameroon's question on its agenda, and of course, this time as a standalone issue. We all know that the government of the United States of America had pushed through an initiative at one point, and the UN Security Council did discuss the situation in the southern Cameroons through the area formula. And so there are expectations, however, that more still needs to be done. We move on to the horizon, where the talk was about reconstruction in the southern Cameroons. Of course, the paper opines that reconstruction will be a catalyst for peace. But we all know that this is not true, because as a matter of fact, there can never be peace where there is no justice. And of course, while Ntumfo Nico Hale has been talking about the need to put in place a Justice and Peace Commission, or, to reconcile the peoples And again, I must already point out that this is contrary to the wishes and aspirations of the people of the southern Cameroons, who simply want La République du Cameroon, its administration, and its occupational forces out of our territory. And so we notice, therefore, that Jean-Michel Nincho, who is a member of parliament for the opposition SDF from the littoral constituency in La République du Cameroon, stood tall in parliament to oppose, to deride that reconstruction project, pointing out that it is a sham because there's no point talking about reconstruction when there is no peace, because there's no point destroying, burning, and claiming to be reconstructing at the same time. Such things don't happen. That will not work. It didn't work anywhere, and so it's not going to work only within the confines of the southern Cameroons. Of course, the Eden newspaper talks too about this reconstruction, and says that SABC, that's Brasserie du Cameroun and GCAM, put in it was, I think, 1 billion CFA in contribution for that albatross of a project. But Honorable Nincho says that the plan makes no sense. And he goes right ahead, I mean, Honorable Nincho, to say that the corrupt parliamentarians, the corrupt senators from the southern Cameroons continue to want to spray perfume on, excrement of La République du Cameroon in the southern Cameroons. He even went ahead to completely accuse them as being overtly corrupt. And he made this statement stronger when one of the MPs, Honorable Bangmi Emmanuel, or I should say Bangmi Emmanuel, because there's no member of parliament in La République du Cameroon Senate from the southern Cameroons. They were all rejected because there were no elections on our territory. So these were absolutely appointed by Mr. Paul Biya. So when Mr. Bangmi Emmanuel rose to the rostrum to complain and said it should be retracted, we all saw, because I'll come back to this. Honorable Nincho say, I am ready for any form of investigation to ascertain or to establish this accusation of corruption. And this is because before the start of the session, Mr. Tazong Paul is alleged to have given the sum of 2 million CFA to each of the members of parliament, those appointed, of course, from the southern Cameroons, all 35 of them, and to their senators, trying to get a buy-in from their side so that they don't get hard on him when he goes into, present, so-called progress on the albatross of a reconstruction project. So some of these MPs collected the money and went over and intimated to Nincho exactly what happened and gave him all the facts. And that is how we saw what we saw. Definitely, like I said, I'll be coming back to this in greater detail because there's so much more that we need to know about some of those people who pretend to be representing us or talking for us when in effect they really have no mandate from our end. And then I'll close up with the papers and with what happened during the week with The Voice newspaper that is celebrating 5 years of journalism. They talk about CBC mourning Anglophone war victims. As I know, we're talking here of the victims of the ongoing carnage visited by La République du Cameroun on our people. And then it also talks about the EU Parliament's resolution. It's called for a humanitarian ceasefire and then especially for true dialogue. I like to hang a bit on those two words, true dialogue. A clear indication that whatever has happened thus far, whatever claims have been made left, right, top, down, east, west thus far, have simply been nonsense. And the world knows that there is nothing that is going on between La République du Cameroun and the people of the southern Cameroons. Of course, we know that the European parliamentarians made clear that it is the government of Mr. Paul Biya that has consistently refused to come to the dialogue table. So I think basically that is what made news in the southern Cameroons. Of course, there's been some talks of kidnappings or arrests. There's been a controversy over a so-called liberation tax, and the debate that is raging on it. I guess we'll get to a point where all the movements, groups, and organizations will come to a consensus on exactly what needs to be done. Because at one point or the other, some of our groups, movements, and the organizations have, talked about the need for some kind of tax. But I think the manner of going about it is what has definitely come under condemnation this week. And so I will have an opportunity to, get some of the protagonists, and we have an interesting debate on that subject matter as we continue. I mean, in informal fora to discuss on how to, make this situation, come under control. So that said, I will be going back to Mrs. For Marie, but before I get there, I'd like us to take a quick watch at this, and this is the work of our women, the Takumbans.
You can see how the flag is flying up. We have hosted the flag in Babaki. This is Babaki Tungo. We are right in the palace. We have hosted the flag up. As the flag is going up, means that we have accepted to build one Ambazonian. I'm a Yapo somewhere reporting from Babaki Tungo. Watch and see what is happening.
That is a very high and interesting moment there, and that happened shortly after September 22, 2017. That was on October 1. And so this, was following the huge mobilization by the Takumbans within the framework of a project that was called at the time Takumbang Unleashed. Oh, I have the feeling that I just lost means for Marie. I guess she will come back. So while we wait for her to get back, I go back to yet another clip of those Takumbans. That was a very high moment. That particular one was September 22. And so I think I have Marie for back on the line. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I guess there's still some little communication problems. Okay. I know sometimes we face these issues on broadcast getting from it. Okay. I think she's right back there. Can you get me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Okay, awesome. So I know you just watched that little episode. Like I was saying, it is an offshoot of what happened on September 22, 2017, following the mobilization of the Takumbans. So when you look at those images, what will you say today about the role that our women have actually been playing in this liberation movement?
Mr. Mbakuru, the women, the mothers of Ambazonia have played a big role in the liberation movement. When we started this thing, like drawing from that picture which you have just put on, you see how dedicated our mothers were to this cause. And they still remain dedicated. But to me, they have been relegated to the background. The revolution, to me, is no longer listening to their cry. It's no longer listening to their cry. The pain of a mother is losing her child. The child she bore for 9 months in her womb and suffered to bring the child to the age where the life is taken off. As mothers, we are crying, we are longing for peace to reign. Yes, we understand that for peace to reign, there must be justice. There must be justice. No peace can last long without justice. Our cry has been that we should have one enemy whom we recognize, and that is La République du Cameroon. As mothers, we continue to plead and to cry that we should not have enemies in the house. We should not have enemies in the house. We agree that in any house where you have 2 or more children, there may be disagreements between or amongst the children. But this disagreement should not lead to enmity. These disagreements should not lead to enmity. What disagreements can there be in a house where the children cannot sit together and talk it over? In every family unit, agreements will always arise. But there is always an opportunity for the members of this family to come together, sit and talk over that agreement, and come to an agreement. I don't see what agreement should come up in a family that the children should be at each other's neck.
You talk about disagreement.
Yes, disagreements. There shouldn't be any disagreement in the family where the children rise up against each other, where the children are at each other's neck. So as mothers of Ambazonia, our cry is that our children should learn to talk to each other. Our children should learn to talk with each other. Our children should learn to discuss their disagreements so as to arrive at an agreement.
Manford, do you have
Back,
the feeling? Do you have the feeling that uh, I mean, besides you and maybe if a few others, that overall the women involved in the Southern Cameroon's liberation movement actually share this philosophy that you are espousing and are also walking the talk in trying to bring the various protagonists together to make sure that we have, I mean, some degree of cooperation, of collaboration and cohesion in the struggle. Do you think that women are actually doing the role that they are supposed to do well enough?
Ms. Amba Akuru, if I tell you that all the women in the liberation movement are carrying out their role as women and mothers, then I am lying. To me, I thought that as women belonging to this revolution, if they notice any infighting between men, their role should be to reconcile the men. It aches my heart when I hear a woman come over the air, release audios, insulting other women, ordering our children to kill each other. The role of a mother should be to reconcile, not to throw kerosene on fire. When I hear the men come after each other, it doesn't pain me as much as when I hear a woman come out and instead of trying to put off the fire, is pouring kerosene on fire and helping to separate our leaders, our sons, even more.
I want to find out from you your specific role. Have you tried to reach out to some of these women? I mean, in the past, now, is that something you are doing? I know you are a member of the Global Takumban. So,
Yep.
is there any initiative that you are taking to try and sensitize the women so they could rise up to the occasion and play this kind of role that you are describing? Because in the past, we've even heard some women come up to offer prayers calling for the death of some in the leadership of this movement. Are you reaching
Yep.
out? Is the Global Takumban that you belong to, coming up with an initiative to try and get the women be the ones that go high when those of us, the men, go low?
From the creation of the Global Takumban, our doors are open to all women of Ambazonia. Our doors are open. Once you have women coming in, dropping out for their various reasons, they are entitled to their opinions, quite all right. But what I've seen in this struggle is that when a woman affiliates herself to a particular group, she blinds herself to seeing the errors and the evil that that group is perpetuating. That should not be the place of the woman in the Amazonian revolution. My plea has been that as a woman, you are a mother. And in this revolution, until every woman is able to play the role of a mother who is a reconciliator, the women are failing in their duty. The women are failing in their duty. I think
What
that when the men are fighting, the women should be in a position of trying to bring them together. And that is the rule of the true Takumban. When I say the true Takumban, we don't want people who will only come in because they want to perpetuate an ego. In Takumban, we regard all the different groups in this struggle as our children. Our doors are open. We are ready to talk. with any of them, although unfortunately some of them have closed their doors to us. They don't want to talk with us. But our rule is that of open doors to receive, to dialogue, to talk, to chat with all our sons and daughters.
Yes, I want to find out also what is the specific relationship that you entertain with a lot of the men in the leadership. Have you reached out to some of them? Yes, in my case, I can say that I know I mean, you've been talking to me a lot of time. But have you reached out to all those other men in leadership to try and see if you could, broker a truce, talk some sense into our heads, so that people generally begin to understand the need to put the flag of the Southern Cameroons first and to promote some synergy and cohesion? And if you have done that, what I mean, how will you assess the level of success of your initiative?
As an individual, I wouldn't say that I've been able to reach out to all. I've been reaching out to some. There are some of them with whom I used to talk very well, but when they realized that maybe I didn't want to toe their line, they closed their doors to me. Other women have been reaching out to other leaders, so it's not a one-man show. In the Takenbeng is a group made up of several women, and we have been reaching out, and we will continue to reach out to those who open their doors to us. To those who open their doors to us.
I know how difficult a task this really is. So we get out of that subject matter. I want to take you back to the experiences that you have really faced in this movement from several years back. There's some over 2 decades to this moment. During the time when Pam 4 was arrested, I mean, and I know it's a lot of the times, and detained, and you had to go see him, were you worried at some point that you could also be detained? Or did you indeed at any point also get detained?
I never got detained at any point, but there's a saying in my dialect that when you have a boil in your neck, you cannot avoid swallowing some of the pus. Yeah, it wasn't easy going to see them there, but there was no choice. I had to go. There are even instances where I had to petition, I had to write to some international organizations pleading for them to intervene in the release of my husband and co during some of the detentions. I remember vividly a time when he was detained. They were arrested from Kumbu with one white gentleman, a journalist. In fact, I had to write, and there was a very swift international intervention, and the white journalist was released to go back home. Um, when you are faced with these situations, Mr. Mbakuru, you should know that anything can happen to you yourself at any time. To me, I was always ready. I was always ready. I knew anything could happen. I cannot tell you the number of times that I would just be sitting at home or getting ready to go to work, and as I open the door, I meet with gendarmes, police, coming in to search my house, and so on. Those are the type of things that can frighten you to death. But when you know that it can happen at any time, you know you can no longer be frightened. You can no longer be frightened. These are people who have no conscience. There was a day I was just going out to go to work, and I met the commissioner of police and his people. They came in, searched, that they had come to search my house. I told them that I'm going to work. What do you want? Let me direct you to where it is. He said, Madam, we have to search the house. In fact, they searched the house. I had, by then, owning a computer was a big privilege. I had a child who really loved IT, and I had just bought a new computer for him. These people came, searched the house. My husband had just produced one of his books. They carried the copies of the books, went and opened the computer, saw a correction to a page in the book that they had already taken, and decided to carry the computer. The commissioner himself was one of our boys, an Anglophone from Bakosi. So he decided that when I opened the book and showed him the page, I said, why are you carrying this child's computer? You already have the books. This is the page of the correction. He said, okay. And he decided to leave the computer. As you would see, there was a small francophone, what they call Sangalong boy, who just went outside, called the Legion commander, and told him that they have seen a computer, and this, our commissioner, who was an Anglophone, is refusing to take it. And the Legion commander called him and told him to take that computer. That is again showing us that what? No matter who you are in
What an
Cameroon,
experience.
no matter who you are in Cameroon.
Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, we've just lost Mom for a moment.
That
Oh,
is
okay,
the
okay. Fortunately, she's back.
that are the Takumba women notifying me that it's time for a meeting. Okay, so that is to tell us that no matter who you are, a francophone, a small boy, has more power than you. So they took the computer away. Before they took the computer, I locked my doors and told this commissioner that you have taken too many things from this house. I bought a telephone, you took it when I had not even installed it yet. I had a fax machine, you people came and took it. You are not going to leave my house with this computer. I forced him. He had to go and photocopy. We photocopied the documents, the receipts for the computer, and he signed saying that he had taken the computer and that if anything happens to it, he will be held responsible. That is when I opened my doors for him to go. Even though I never recovered this computer, even after the case had been thrown out of court, the computer was nowhere to be found.
This is a very humiliating experience that
Yes.
you're narrating there. And what I like about this is it shows. I mean, it is a practical demonstration of what we have been saying, that no matter whatever kind of office they give you as a Southern Cameroonian in La République du Cameroon, there is always a counterweight. Even
Yep.
even a sweeper, I mean, a janitor in that office is your boss, and that
Yep.
is the reality from the story you just explained
Yes, that is the
there. I
reality.
mean, with this guy who pride himself as a superintendent of police, but is humiliated by a rank and file.
Yep.
So, man, for based on that, there are some people still talking federalism in our midst. Still talking about, oh, perhaps let us go back to the federal experience, or let us even start somewhere with a confederation, and all of those things. From your years of involvement in this movement, would you ever say anywhere that that is advisable?
Mbakuru, anybody talking of federalism doesn't know what they are talking about. What do they think we are going to get from federalism today if we could not get it in yesteryears? What are they going to get today? Today, the people are more enlightened. The Amazonians are more enlightened. They know their rights. And these rights can never be achieved under federalism. So how will you, if you take them back to federalism, how are you going to manage them? How are they going to fit into it? Long gone are the times that we could be thinking of federalism. I think that is a foregone dream. And any Amazonian who is thinking of federalism today doesn't know what he or she is talking about.
I know you said you have to go because you have a meeting of the Global Takumbang, and I'm really delighted that despite your very tight schedule, you were able to find time to be part of this program. But just before you go, what piece of advice will you have for our boys on the ground who, continually find themselves ripped apart by the division that is going on among our various groups, movements, and organizations? And again, your last piece, your last word to the women in this movement, in view of the role that they should play in helping all of us begin to speak again, perhaps with one clear voice, even if we're not coming all together under one chapel.
Um, First of all, I want to thank everyone who has been involved in this revolution and to acknowledge the fact that a revolution is not something that can be achieved in a day, but it is achievable. To the leaders, I will continue to appeal for collaboration amongst you people. Yes, I recognize the fact that each leader has his own path to achieving this independence. But you people should recognize that you have a common goal, and the goal is achieving independence for Ambazonia. So while you are following your different paths, please, there should be some collaboration amongst you people. There are things that you people can agree to do together so as to move this revolution ahead. And I would also like to appeal that where you have disagreements, please learn to talk to and with each other. Coming over the air and shouting insults at each other doesn't help us in any way. It doesn't help us in any way. You only have to divide Ambazonians more and more. I believe that there is a means where you people can talk to each other. Please learn to talk to each other. We must not wash our dirty linen in public. Secondly, I want to tell the leaders that in my own conception, I think a leader is a servant of the people. A leader should learn to listen to his people. A leader should learn to listen to his people. In this case, who are the people? Those of us outside here, we are not suffering the way our parents, our family members back in ground zero are suffering. For once, we should learn to listen to their cry. If truly we are fighting for their independence, we should learn to listen to them. When I say listen to them, you may listen to them, and their ideas are not what you think has to be, but listen to them and talk with them. Listen to them and talk with them.
Thank you very
To
much.
our boys who are fighting on the ground,
Yes.
I appreciate what you are doing. Please, please, if you actually stepped into this fight to liberate our people, you remain steadfast. Do not allow any person to mislead you. You are the people who are seeing our people, who are interacting with our people on a day-to-day basis. My sons, my brothers, please do not add to the suffering of our people because somebody from somewhere out there has influenced you to act. We mothers, we are there praying for you every day, defending you, that you are out to defend your people. So I think that you cannot be defending your people and at the same time causing suffering to them. The mothers are praying for you, and for our prayers to be effective, you too have to consider the people for whom you are fighting. You should not be a source of suffering or a source of pain to them.
Mumford, you will not go right away. There is one last question from the audience. And, you know, sometimes you really think that people have had, all the facets of what we want to present. But I see a message has just come in on the live chat. And the question is, are you proud that your husband's vision of a free Southern Cameroons, of a free Ambazonia, is finally coming to pass? The question says, the member of the audience says, I'm saying so because I know there were times when you didn't see a kind of popular following for the ideals that they espoused for a free Southern Cameroons. I might have sounded like a pipe dream. And today he's even in jail serving a life term. But all the same, are you proud that your husband's vision for a free Southern Cameroons, a free Ambazonia, is coming to pass? That's a question from the audience, and that's the last one before you go.
Okay. I am proud of one thing, that Ambazonians now have seen that they need the independence. Because if the awareness that we have today had been when they started fighting, maybe we should have been talking in an independence country today. One thing is that I am happy that there is the awareness for the importance of independence. But for the realization of the independence, I am sorry to say this, that the way we are going, I don't know whether I will see that independence before I die. The way we are going, please, we are capable of getting this independence, but we will not get it the way we are going. Where others fix and go, and others come behind and spoil because they feel that it is not their image that is being projected. Let's put our egos behind. Let's put our power fighting behind. Collaborate with each other and carry this struggle forward. As long as we remain divided, fragmented, I do not see this independence coming by easily. I do not see this independence coming by easily. That is where my pain is. That is where my pain is. If we come together, work towards the same goal, it may be in different ways. There must be a point where we meet. There must be a point where we meet and work as a single person.
Thank you very
Until we
much.
achieve this, for me, I see that independence very far away.
Thank you very much, Ms. For Marie. In fact, I must say, I mean, you you have been a very great resource, and you will continue to be a great resource to the people of Ambazonia, to the people of the Southern Cameroons, to this liberation movement. I must implore you to continue to do the good job that you are doing, to continue reaching out, and to continue mobilizing the women to play their role as unifiers and who can use all other means to see how to bring the quarreling men together. So until I get you once more onto this program sometime in the future, thank you so much and do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Mbakuru.
Thank you.
See you sometime later.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was Ms. Marie Mfor, the wife of the very enigmatic and erudite Mfongala Mfor, who is serving a life jail term right now at the Colonial Konongi prison in Yaoundé, still fighting for our freedom. I'd like to move to some other very important thing on this program at this point. And take note, my people, that while the struggle is raging on, La République du Cameroun, through their talks on the ground, have been doing everything to interrupt the food chain in the southern Cameroons. They want to force famine on our people. They want to force suffering on our people. That is why they have attacked farms, destroyed crops, gone into people's homes, removed even reserve food from the barns, burned them, scattered them, and even sometimes block access roads to farms to make sure that at some point we'll have food crop shortage in the southern Cameroons, in Ambazonia, because they tell themselves that if they subjugate us right to the point where we no longer have even what to feed on, we will turn against ourselves, we will turn against our own very aspiration for a free and independent Ambazonia. But trust me, there are some in our community who, like the consortium, had taken up the challenge to see how to work directly with the people on the ground and ensure that there are safe passages, and that better techniques are being used to ensure better yields in the short run so that the food chain will not be interrupted. And that is going to be the subject of discussion on this program, the soul of the Southern Cameroons, over the next 20 minutes. Don't go away.
My Amber Farmer's voice this.
Shall move forward, forward. We are so proud to be Ambazonians. Ambazonians shall move forward, forward. We are so proud to be Ambazonians. We come from Omondi and Fako, Donga Manto, Kope Maningu Babwi. We come from Ezama, Yugoyo.
Mama and Papa dem for Southern Cameroons and Bazonia, una welcome for Amber Farmer's Voice. Amber Farmer's Voice na program where e dey bring una practical and simple way dem for grow plenty chop. We don see am say this world dey so hungry go dey plenty o. So Amber Farmer's Voice dey here for help for say make we put all we head for one place, see how we fit make we own organic fertilizer, how we fit make we own medicine wey we fit use am for kill insect dem wey dey spoil chop. We wan see how we fit work plenty chop for small ground, for small piece of land, so we work plenty chop dey. How we fit fix we own solar dryer dem for dry we chop like njama dem. So we dey talk say make all man tune in for SCBC TV, for Umo Jami, for Facebook, YouTube, or you fit download Amber Farmer's Voice app for learn how we fit work plenty chop. If una get any question or problem with una farm, una fit send am for we so that Amber Farmer's Voice go answer am for una. We be ready for help una, for give una information for how for grow plenty chop, for keep chop for long time, make e no spoil. Thank una plenty.
And so, the initiator of this very important program, the Amber Farmer's Voice, of course, which you have heard is broadcast on the SCBC, the Southern Cameroons Broadcasting Corporation. He is Mr. Isaac Zama, and I'll be welcoming Mr. Isaac Zama on this program in a few seconds only, but just so that you know, he is an international development expert. Mr. Isaac Zama holds a PhD in International and Rural Development from the Land Tenure Center, College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, University of Wisconsin, that's Madison, with a focus on agriculture and sustainable rural development. He also holds a Master's of Laws degree in Environmental Law from the University of Washington School of Law. He is currently, like I pointed out earlier, host of Amber Farmer's Voice. That's a TV program that's produced in collaboration with the SCBC to educate farmers in appropriate techniques in producing food using videos, which airs on every Sunday at 4 p.m. That's Cameroon time. That's Amber time. It is rebroadcast several times, obviously. So he previously worked as a researcher with the International Food Policy Research Institute in Washington, D.C., and as a lecturer in community forestry at the École Nationale des Eaux et Forêts in Gabon. So, Mr. Isaac Zama, you are on the line to Boston, if I'm not mistaken. I could well be mistaken. Can you hear me, Mr. Zama? Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you very well, Mr. Akuro. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much, Mr. Zama. I can hear you. And you're welcome to this program. Or I should say, Dr. Zama. So, Dr. Zama, I'd like to find out from you, what is it that caused you to want to get into this or to want to come up with this kind of initiative in the middle of a raging armed conflict?
Thank you so much again, Mr. Akuro, for inviting me to your program. This initiative was born out of the sufferings of our people. When this war started, we saw the number of our people who were uprooted from their homes as internally displaced and as refugees in Nigeria. When our people became refugees in Nigeria, the challenge was, how are they going to feed themselves? So, at the beginning, the diasporans we're trying to collect money and for them to buy rice down there and things like that. But the sheer magnitude of the number of our people in Nigeria uh, demonstrated that no amount of money could actually support them. Not only Nigeria, there were some of our people who were internally displaced inside La République du Cameroon. There were some of our people who went off to Ghana. There were some who were in the bushes. And and so we had to think through what is it that we can really do that would support them, you know, so that they can have food to eat. Being a professional in agriculture, I started thinking, how can we reach out to our people? And the easiest way to reach our people, luckily for us, we had SCBC that was broadcasting, over satellite, and many people at home were able to, to receive this satellite feed over SCBC. So we came up with the idea of Amber Farmer's Voice to communicate with our people, to help our people produce food during this time of war. As you said in your introduction, as you said in your introduction, La République has been going to our villages and burning barns and going to people's houses and really taking out food, dry corn. We've seen those videos in from Kumbo, where La République soldiers get into houses and burn people's food, or in Dub, where they actually took machetes to cut down corn, fresh corn that was growing. So this implies that it's a calculated attempt to inflict artificial hunger on our people to turn against the revolution. So we had to come out with we have to come out with an answer to that. And the answer to that is Amber Farmer's Voice, that, tries to bring um, ways that our people can produce enough food during a crisis in difficult situations. So, in short, that is the genesis of Amber Farmer's Voice.
Yes, Dr. Zama, uh, tell me briefly, what has been the response from the ground thus far? How are the people reacting to it? Do you have the feeling that your efforts are yielding the desired dividends?
Absolutely. You will not believe it. We have lots of people at home and in Nigeria and across Africa, for that matter, that actually watch the program. We get feedbacks from people who are interested in particular topics. We have people at home who send questions. Let me give you a simple example. There's a mama somewhere, for security reasons, I won't mention where she is, but she grows spices. And she had some problems with the spices. Her yields were not that good. She had some kinds of insects that were attacking her spices, and so she sent us a WhatsApp message, asking for help. And what we did was we went out to other experts, with a question, and they were able to provide answers that we send to this mother who is growing spices. So we've also had uh, you know, um, other farmers who have sent us requests for more information how to grow, how to raise maggots that they use as animal feed. We've had requests for how to raise snails, Onyamangoro. Those are some of the programs that we've carried out, and people are actually very interested in some of the things that we do.
There is a question here from the audience for you. The question is, do you just end at training, using virtual means, or you also do provide some kind of inputs to those who are interested in actually implementing these lessons on the ground? That is, practically, do you help, or do you have an organization or groupings that provide some kind of financial assistance to enable them get inputs and carry this on?
No, for financial assistance, no. Amber Farmers Voice is it's a small program. There are very few of us who are actually working on it. We don't have any means of sponsoring people to undertake work on the ground. Nevertheless, because of the situation that we have our refugees in Nigeria, we've undertaken a fundraiser to train 200 uh, of our sisters or our mothers who are refugees in Nigeria to become beekeepers. So in collaboration with Global Giving, we are raising money to train 200 Southern Cameroonian women who are refugees, actually in the Cross River State, to undertake beekeeping. Honey is a very very important and lucrative activity. So that is why, in working with the refugee leaders in Cross River State, we are trying to train 200 of them so that they can start becoming they can start they can become beekeepers and make an income and help themselves. And through this they will form a cooperative that they will work together as a unit and sell their honey, and part of the money that they're going to make would come back for more people to be trained. Our goal, hopefully, if members of your viewership or your audience can support us, our goal is that we can train 5 to 10,000 beekeepers who are victims or who are refugees in Nigeria. That is for the short term. The long term goal or vision is that if we have 10,000 of our people become professional beekeepers, that would form the basis of a honeybee industry in Amazonia when we eventually get down to Boya. So that is the big picture. But for now, we are raising funds to have them start beekeeping. And the good thing I would like to mention here is that we are fortunate that we're working in partnership with Winrock International. Winrock International is a big U.S. International NGO that provides training in different aspects of agriculture. So they have actually accepted, and they are the ones who are going to train our this initial cohort of 200 women in Nigeria to become beekeepers. So again, on the other part of the question is that because of the security situation on ground zero, we find it a little challenging to actually undertake projects on ground zero. But nonetheless, we are available to provide technical assistance. If any village, if they contact us and they have a particular issue or they want to start a particular project, we can provide them technical assistance. Even if Amber Farmer's Voice doesn't know how to undertake that particular project, we have partners. We can find experts that would help them do whatever they want to do.
What are some of the difficulties that you have faced with respect to carrying out this very important mission, that of empowering our farmers on the ground technically and those in the refugee camps, so they could be, gainfully occupied even as this conflict rages on? What are some of the difficulties you faced, and how have you been managing to overcome these difficulties?
The challenges is it's a question of time. We have a very small team that we have to go out and do the research, to bring our people the information that they need. It's a challenge, but if we consider our situation with those of our brethren at home or in Nigeria, that becomes minute as compared to what our people are going through. So, the greatest challenge that we have is that we don't have the funding to be able to run our program. So, all our equipment, we bought them ourselves. We try to get as much as possible to get the money to buy the things that we need to get the program running. Um, how do we overcome them? We believe in the vision of Ambazonia. We know that it's going to be a reality, and if you believe in something, you're going to find whatever possibility to resolve whatever challenges we have. So, we have working with other professionals. We are trying to see how we can shape or contribute in shaping the future of agriculture in southern Cameroon or in Amazonia when we eventually go to Boya. So, with that love for Amazonia at the back of our minds, we are working hard to bring this education, to our people, so that by the time we get to Boya, a lot of our people would already have the knowledge to do lots of things. Let me give you an example. Um, we are educating our people on how to make their own organic fertilizer, for example, how to collect urine safely and use it effectively as organic fertilizer. So, we do all that research and we bring it out to our people. Some people are going to use it now. Some people are going to use that when we eventually get to Boya. But we want to bring that information or lay that information in the hands of our people because, as you know, knowledge is power. La République can take everything away from us, but once we have the knowledge, there is nothing they can do.
Yes, Dr.
So,
Zama, we are 5 minutes or rather 3 minutes away from the end of the program. There's another question from the audience. They are asking here, can you or do you often have the occasion or set aside time to do, targeted training for some people away from just this broadcast upon request? Can you hold Zoom sessions or teleconferences with groups of farmers to teach them some of these techniques if they do a request, or has it been happening before?
absolutely, we would love to do that. We have done that in the past, but I will not come for security reasons. I will definitely not come here to announce where we've done it on Ground Zero, but we are actually doing a lot of work on Ground Zero. There are women's groups that are contacting us for various things, and we provide them the assistance that they need. So we will appeal to people on ground one or ground zero to contact us. Our phone number is +1 202 735 1145, or they can send us an email if that's easier for them. Email
Can you
again
take over
is
the phone number?
yeah, +1 202 735 1145, or they can contact us via email amberfarmersvoice@gmail.com, or they can go to our website, which is amberfarmersvoice.org. We have a Facebook page, Amber Farmers Voice. There's a YouTube channel, Amber Farmers Voice, where we have videos of all the programs that we produce, via SCBC for those who don't have the chance to watch it. So, yes, to answer your question, we are available to help our people. This program is for our people back on ground zero, on ground one, in Ghana, and even those in the diaspora who may be interested in having a summer garden. We are here to help.
Dr. Zama, you're a Southern Cameroonian, you're an Amazonian, and so I won't let you go without saying at least a word on our liberation movement itself. I know that just before you jumped in, you were also watching the program, and so you did listen to a lot of the things that Mrs. Marine for, as a wife of our own Fongalam for, said on this program. What is your reaction? How did this sink into you as a person?
Well, my for said what any genuine Amazonian, would be saying, which is collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. There is no single entity in on the ground right now that can procure this independence for us. We have to work together, and most importantly, we have to work with our people on the ground. Our people must not be our enemies to the restoration or to our freedom fighters. So, um, as an Amazonian, I'm very concerned about the fighting between fighters of different groups because of allegiance that they pay to individuals. Um, my greatest advice would be for our freedom fighters on ground zero to figure out a way for them to work together and be each other's keeper and never ever turn their weapons on a fellow brother, a fellow fighter for whatever reason, because we are in relative safety here. If we if they continue believing in instructions coming from supposedly leaders in the diaspora to kill each other or to not to work with each other, that becomes counterproductive. We have one enemy and one enemy only, which is La Republic, and that is what should preoccupy every single fighter on the ground.
Thank you very
Turn your
much.
guns against the enemy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zama. We have come to really the end of this broadcast today. I mean, I should say it was a huge pleasure having such great personalities on this program today. And so until it is next Saturday, I'll be right back here with yet another verse of the soul of the Southern Cameroons. But let us keep it in mind that as long as we continue to allow manipulations, to allow misinformation to be our everyday menu, we will be holding ourselves longer in the wilderness. Both of our guests on this program have pointed to the direction we need to follow: cohesion, synergy, and general mobilization. Thank you very much for your time. And until next Saturday, is enjoy the rest of your evening.